Shut the f up, Tiffany! My altcoins are gonna moon! You don't know shit about blockchain! Model gang for life! Ripple's gonna put Junior through college and I'm gonna have 3 Lambos, bitch!
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So it's Friday, it's the weekend, we made it, congratulations, but I know what you're saying. Wait a minute, Bitcoin is down 4.71%. Well, yesterday we were talking about how we were basically riding along on the 200 daily moving average. You can see right here, I said Bitcoin is dangerously close to crucial support, and well, we fell below it. You can see we were actually sitting up around $9,260 this morning, and we actually fell all the way down to about $8,718. Now, what is going on with Bitcoin? Has everything that's been happening in the past couple of months just been completely invalidated? Are we back into a bear market? Well, we're going to go over all of that today. I'm going to talk about some of the key levels that I am looking at and let you know my opinion on the overall market and whether or not what we're seeing right now is actually a good, bad, healthy, whatever you want to call it, move for Bitcoin, okay? So that is what we are going to talk about today. Also, we had another exchange that got hacked. Tether actually came out and had something to say in regards to the accusation of a whale pumping 2017's bull run. And also, I do want to talk about some bullish Bitcoin fundamentals, okay? Even though the price is taking a bit of a hit right now, we actually have a lot of awesome things happening in the background for Bitcoin. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, we do this every single day. And don't forget, every single Monday, we do give away the Ledger Nano S hardware wallet. All you got to do is drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the week, and you are eligible. Now, having a look, Bitcoin is trying to sort of spring back right now, but let's have a look. Let's give this a quick refresh live. So essentially, Bitcoin dominance is sitting around 66.7. Now, interestingly enough, you are going to notice that this is definitely a Bitcoin-driven dump, okay, because Bitcoin dumped before the rest of them. In fact, when I had switched it to the Bitcoin comparative, you notice there's slightly more green, whereas if I go back to the dollar comparative, you'll notice there's more red, and that's actually because Bitcoin really is what led this sell-off this morning. Now, I do want to point out the fact that, granted, this isn't exactly as much volume as I'd like to see. Well, actually, a little more just came in, but the move did have some volume accompanying it. In fact, if I go back here, you'll actually notice if we just look below, there was a decent amount, okay? Wasn't as much as we'd like to see, but it is good to still see some volume. Nevertheless, obviously, I don't have to tell you what's going on right here. Clearly, we have the shorts at 55%, so very bearish. It was slightly bearish yesterday, clearly extremely bearish today. The sentiment is definitely not too happy about what Bitcoin is doing. Essentially, you could see right here, we were just basically sitting on the edge of the 200 daily and we basically just fell and we fell below it. Now, here's the interesting thing. So some people were saying that, maybe this wick right here didn't really count for the CME futures gap to get closed. Well, the gap got closed. It got closed both on the CME futures charts and on the spot chart. So as far as the CME futures gap getting closed, there is absolutely no question it got closed, okay? However, keep in mind that today is Friday, so we could potentially put in another gap over this weekend depending on what happens with Bitcoin, but currently everything seems to be all right now. Now, hopping over here, I do want to talk about the fact that we are actually sitting below the 21 exponential. Now, we were sitting above it just this morning. We did fall below it. Now, the 21 exponential on the weekly was sort of the next sort of net or cushion that we were looking for to sort of provide that support had we fallen below the 200 daily. Well, currently, that did not provide support. You can see we are sitting well below it. But the question is, I thought that November was supposed to be a really great month for Bitcoin. You can see right here on average, clearly look at this blue line right here. It usually does very well with the median, relatively putting in a good month. But currently, we've barely seen anything. In fact, if we have a look at the month right here, we've actually fallen, about 3.89%, but even so, that's not really a big move for Bitcoin. So, we did have that massive pump on October 25th, but what really is going on here? Now, you can see that we actually fell out of this triangle that we were basically putting in. However, we were supported by the $8,742 level, which basically, if we go back here, you could see that was acting as resistance back around May 26th when we had this sort of consolidation, right? Now, also having a look right here, you do notice if we go wick to wick, we did have some, resistance, and it kind of started to resemble a bit of a descending wedge, right? And as the last one fell to the downside and the one before that, well, this one fell as well. Currently supported at around the 8735 over here on BitMEX. Now, honestly, I don't really want to see Bitcoin fall below the $8,735 level. If we do fall below that level, you'll notice sort of the last stand right here is this sort of resistance that we had October 9th, 10th, and 11th, and that is sitting at around 8,588. So kind of like that $8,600 level. What's also interesting about that level as well is it also is what the support flip resistance is putting in right here. You can see here's the intersection right there. So I would say that worst case scenario, today, tomorrow, this weekend, it's possible to see Bitcoin fall down to around that, $8,500, $8,600 level. It doesn't necessarily have to. We have closed the gap, okay? But if we do fall below that, you can see basically right here, the next VPVR that essentially really catches us is around the 8.4 and then all the way down at 8,100. But if we were to go down to 8,100, that kind of just completely invalidates this. And essentially, really all that tells me is, we're just putting in lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and ultimately that would be very bearish, okay, to keep putting in lower high, lower high, lower high. So I am hoping that we do get supported at around that 8.7 level, 8.5 at the lowest. Below that, then guys, we may actually be back in a bear market, okay? There is maybe one other sort of way you can look at this, and that was if you do think that this giant pump was just a big flag, and this is essentially, a basically bull flag. It would be an enormous bull flag, just to point it out, probably the biggest bull flag I've ever seen in my life. But if we do just want to kind of go with that, well, if we were to fall all the way down to the bottom of the flag, you're saying we could go back down to $7,000 again. But I mean, look at that. If we went down to 7,000, okay, now you're going to the bottom of this consolidation that started way back in the beginning of the year around May. And honestly, that would just completely invalidate basically everything that we've put in until that point, and it would not be looking good for Bitcoin. So I don't want to end on a negative note here, but I just want to be realistic about it, okay? That is the situation moving forward. We could just be having a fake out right now, and that could be it. We could spring back the other way, but I do want you to just keep track of what's going on over there. And, like I said, guys, obviously, once again, I just have to say this. If you are trading on leverage over at Bybit, I just want to stress that I recommend less than 10x leverage. 3 to 5x leverage if you're a beginner. Not financial advice, but just from experience, I'm telling you, you just want to be safe. There's no reason anybody should be getting liquidated. Just absolutely no reason. You're just using way too high of leverage if that's the case. So that is pretty much the analysis. Let me know what you guys think about what's going on. Is this just sort of a fake out? We did have that crazy pump October 25th. So what do you think? Do you think that this is just healthy correction, or is this signaling maybe we have more downside to come? So let me know what you think about that. Also, if you guys are interested, I do have a tutorial on Bybit. I will drop that above. I do have links below as well. But for anyone out there, I know every time Bitcoin sort of takes these hits, people get sad, they get depressed, the sentiment gets very negative on Bitcoin. And I always like to just remind people, this is very normal, okay? You can see right here, look at this. This article came out April 19th of 2016, okay? And I'm bringing this up to you for a reason. Look, okay, so this guy right here, Vechain, I probably said his name wrong. Well, essentially, he basically said that, I'm quoting him, okay? He says, Bitcoin, I think we can say, is dead. There is no traction. No one is using Bitcoin. The Bitcoin experiment, I think we can say, is over. What really happened was a gold rush. People bought Bitcoin because they thought it would be worth more money tomorrow. A lot of people got lucky, but we're not seeing real people use Bitcoin, and we don't know what problem it actually solves. Now, keep in mind, this guy is the CEO of international payments app TransferWise. So let's see when he put that out. So that right here represents when he made that statement about Bitcoin being dead. And, just for fun, let's see. How much has Bitcoin gained since then? Okay, we're down a little bit lower. What are we? We're around like 8.7 now, right? All right, guys, so roughly almost a 2,000% increase since he called Bitcoin dead. So, yeah, you're going to probably be seeing a lot of those Bitcoin is dead things coming out from the media again. I wouldn't believe it, and obviously take it all with a grain of salt, because one of my favorite charts to point out is literally anywhere down here, and you would have been profitable. This you would have not been, and this you would have not been. So basically those two red boxes up there are basically not the best times to buy Bitcoin. But having a look at this chart, does this chart not look bullish to you guys? So, if you're new to crypto and you have bought Bitcoin recently and you might be down a little bit, definitely don't get discouraged. As anyone will tell you in the comments below, just go talk to the crypto community. Dollar cost averaging is the way to go. And currently what we're having is basically just some consolidation after some pretty bullish moves that we had. Now, I do also want to talk about fundamentals, okay? It's always important to talk about that. You can see right here, the amount of Bitcoin on the move every day is now valued at around 2.33 billion, according to data aggregator Coinmetrics' new report. Now you can see right here, according to the chart, adjusted transfer value, an aggregate measure of economic activity, has shown strong long-term growth. The amount transacted per day has increased from, you ready? $2,000 in 2010 to $233 billion today. So also, just to mention, the report also said that at Bitcoin's current price, Bitcoin miners currently have to sell more than 6 billion of Bitcoin a year just to break even. Just kind of wanted to point that out, little fun metric, but you can see that this is very bullish for Bitcoin, right? We've seen hash rate skyrocketing. We've seen transactions skyrocketing. We've seen the rich list skyrocketing, right? We've seen Cash App doubling on beginners purchases. There's nothing bearish about the fundamentals, but unfortunately we go over to the price. It's not looking too great today, right? So that is that situation, but let's not forget the importance of Bitcoin, why we love Bitcoin so much. Yes, we all want to get rich, but censorship resistance, right? Having something that is non-confiscatable. For example, look at this. PayPal to cut off donations to right-wing YouTuber Stefan Molyneux, maybe is his name, following social media divestment campaign. Now, I'm not getting political. I didn't even read up on this. I don't even know what this guy stands for or whatever. But regardless of who you are or what it is that you're promoting, shouldn't it be a right to be able to receive money? I mean, if I want to donate to you, why should I not be allowed to, right? If you want to donate to me, why should you not be allowed to do that, right? Bitcoin solves this, and these are the reasons that we turn to things like Bitcoin, because of this censorship that you get from these centralized platforms, right? I mean, think about everybody using Libra. Oh yeah, I can't wait to use my Libra tokens, and then they don't agree with a purchase, and then my wallet gets shut down, and then I can't access my money for a month because they have to do an investigation, right? So that is just another reason why in the end we do buy Bitcoin. Now, talking about Tether, trying to keep this rapid pace today, they did issue a response to basically the allegations that one single entity pumped the price in 2017 to the all-time high. They said in no uncertain terms that they denied the findings on the coming paper. They even accused the authors of unethical motivations. So to quote them specifically, to obtain publication, Griffin and Shams have released a weakened yet equally flawed version of their prior article. The revised paper is a watered down and embarrassing walk back of its predecessor. So that's number one. And number two from Tether also, they claim that they're fully backed now. The reserves are fully backed. There's more than 74% in there. We promise you this time. We promise you.
You ask me, where's the money? Where's the money? I mean, I don't know where the money is. I've never been good with figures. You know that. I don't know anything about math. It was never my good subject. I don't know where the money is, but if you need money, I'll give you money. But this really surprises me. I'm really shocked. Because I thought we had something here a lot stronger than just business.
In other news, Binance has added the euro secretly in the back, very quietly. Well, there you go. So that has been added to the list as well. Speaking of exchanges, we did have a smaller, lesser known exchange that did get hacked. This is the Vietnam exchange known as Vindax. They got hacked for $500,000 worth of an assortment of cryptos. The exchange is mainly engaged in conducting token sales of little known blockchain projects. They have over 390,000 visitors per month. And yes, this is the 7th hack of the year, guys. So I know that everybody wants to comment and win ledgers, but guys, you need to get yourself a ledger. Just get yourself a hardware wallet. Take your money off the exchanges. If you are not actively trading, there is absolutely no reason for your money to be sitting on the exchange, okay? Even if you're trying to trade on, leverage or something, Bybit only requires one confirmation for, Bitcoin. So okay, maybe it might be too long, 7 to 10 minutes, but still, is it worth the risk of losing all of your money? So guys, if you haven't got yourself a ledger, pick yourself up a ledger. I do have links below if you want to use them. You don't have to, but just be safe out there, guys, okay? Also, talking about Vechain, So they say announcing food gates, a cross-continental logistics and trade platform powered by Vechain, together with DNVGL and ASI Group, it was an honor to serve blockchain authenticated beef to Chinese President Xi Jinping and French President Emmanuel Macron. I'm so bad with names, guys. Please don't judge me. But essentially to both of these presidents. So that was really great news for Vechain. So yeah, there was a lot of people fudding on Vechain, really just saying that they were a scam and all this other stuff. And clearly they're not. So this is why you have to take everything that you hear with a grain of salt, okay? Especially when people are running around calling things scams. Guys, not everything is a scam. A lot of projects, they might have had a rough start, but, this stuff just spreads like absolute wildfire. And imagine all the people that, decided that, they didn't want to invest in this or whatever. It wasn't legit. Well, that is the situation. But one thing I do want to point out, though, is you do have to be careful with altcoins in general. There was actually a post over here, on Reddit, and a guy was basically showing all of his investments into different cryptocurrency projects and what they're worth today. Now, I'm not picking on any of these projects. These are just the ones he listed. But I mean, look at these ones, for example. Electrify Asia, down 92%. Oyster Pearl, down 99%. Swarm City Token, 98%. Zcash, almost 93%. Omisego, that was a hugely popular, token back in the day, down 93%. Not to say that it's not now. I'm just, pointing it out. Requests down 93%. Storage 90%, 98% for Kin. So, I mean, we could keep going down this list and just show you guys. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these altcoins lost a lot of value. And that is why, for the most part, I've switched my channel primarily to Bitcoin because Bitcoin really is the household name. And let's be honest, it's kind of the one that you're rooting for to survive. But, it is always fun to speculate with the altcoins in the background, but just be careful because, like I said, even some very highly popular ones back in the day, Polymath down 97%, Bitcoin Gold 96%, 10x 98%. Okay, so just be careful out there, guys. Just kind of like a public service announcement. But also, speaking about basically what Mitt Romney said, now he brought this up at a U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs. He was pretty much saying he's concerned about cryptocurrencies and whether or not they are a threat. Now, this question was apparently quickly jumped on by FBI Director Christopher Wray. You could see rather than stating the problem, he basically was just asking about an opinion. He said, I'm not in the banking committee. I don't begin to understand how crypto works. I would think it's more difficult to carry out your work when we can't follow the money because the money is hidden from us and wonder whether there should not be some kind of effort taken in our nation to deal with cryptocurrency to actually which the FBI Director Wray responded, well, certainly for us, cryptocurrency is already a significant issue, and we can project our pretty easily that it's going to become a bigger and bigger one. Whether or not this is the subject of some kind of regulation, as the response is harder for me to speak to. So, I mean, yeah, it's getting to a point where they have no choice, okay? Cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, all right, it's growing. It's getting out there. Pandora's box has been opened. You're not going to stop it. You can't actually realistically ban it. You could try, you could cut off the ramps, but you can really never stop it. So, yeah, at some point, you are going to have to see some clear regulatory direction, especially from places like the US, right? So just wanted to point that out, guys, but ending on kind of some funny news. So Zectro1 over here was kind of joking, and he said, with all the new Faketoshis entering the ring, I've decided to put together a brief guide on how to do private Electrum key signings using the Block 1 private key. So if you want to be Faketoshi too, follow these simple steps, and you can also fake owning a bunch of coins. Okay, so that's basically that for the day. Let's give this a quick refresh. How's BAC doing? Oh my goodness, 367 to 807. BAC just loves those crazy volatile days. How's Bitcoin doing? Struggling right here. So honestly, the most important thing before we go is to basically see if we're going to put in a daily close. Yeah, wow, that's probably going to be pretty hard to close above this 200 daily, to be honest with you. From the point that we're at right now, to close above it, Bitcoin would have to pump 5%. I mean, is it possible to do? Yeah, it's possible for Bitcoin to pump 5%, but to do it on a Friday, right before the weekend, I don't know, guys. You do notice that Bitcoin volume does tend to drop off over the weekend, so we are going to keep our eyes on it. I'm not, bearish yet, you know what I mean? We still really have to fall a lot lower. I know some people do consider the 200 the absolute do-or-die bearish level. I mean, for me, I don't really consider it the ultimate bearish level. I mean, we'd really have to sort of change the structure. I mean, for me, kind of falling below 7,000, then that would be pretty bearish, because then we're getting below, this sort of resistance support that started the main pump back here. So that would be that situation. But let me know what you guys think. I feel like I'm rambling. That is it for me. Guys, it's Friday. Stop looking at the charts all day. Go out, enjoy yourself. Go watch a movie. Go have a picnic. Go play a video game. I don't know. Go do something else except freak